All right, we're back with another video. Shot another bug match, or a match in bug. Added optics to add another element to it. Got a note from the Rackles saying that that's a possibility. I looked in the rules and there's nothing against making a specialty division at a local match. A sanctioned match, you have to get approval, but I'm not too worried about that. So I keep getting the question, like, why do you keep talking about this? I just find it the most interesting. It's more interesting to me to figure out how good I can get, or how good a person can get with a gun that they might carry more often than not. So the short answer is it's just more interesting to me. But let's take a look at a few more stages. We'll come back with a little bit more about why I think this is a good idea, adding optics in bug.
That is not how I wanted that to go.
All right, welcome back. So like I said, I want to talk to you a little bit about optics and bug. Before I get into that, I also want to talk about a recent match, the Healy Arms 2025 South Mountain Showdown. We had, I've been to that match several times. It's always been a good match down in Arizona. 148 shooters total, only 2 DQs, so that's pretty good. Doesn't sound like there was too many, or maybe even any DQ traps or anything like that. So I don't think most people are doing that in IDPA, unlike some of the other sports. Austin Prue came out on top of all divisions, shooting a CO gun. So excited to see what he's got going in CO. I don't know if it's that new Wilson Combat. I forget the name of it, that fancy looking CO gun they put out, but that thing looked pretty good. CCP, Bill Olmsted, shot with Bill a number of times. He's a great shooter and a great guy. In CDP, the once in the future king, Glenn Shelby, taking top honors in CDP. CO again was Austin Prue. Not surprised there. Well, a little surprised to see him with a dot gun, but yeah. Jaleese Williams on top of ESP. Revolver was Christopher Bush. I don't know Chris, but well done there. SSP was Dan Tyler. Also don't know Dan, but well done there. No bug division, so I think that's a tier 3, so not required, but yeah, always welcome if you want to open that up. That's a great match for, like, you know, I've gone down there. It's like it's relatively early in the year. It's January, but it's a good place to, like, start the year out, start the season out, kind of thing. So a good match. You know, 148 shooters in January is pretty good. And like I said, I think that's a tier 3, so good there. So the last video I did, I talked about how, you know, like, you guys have heard me, if you read the comment section from the Facebook groups, you've heard me talk about why I think optics should be allowed in bug, but I haven't gone over it really in depth. I'm not going to get too in depth here, but just kind of hitting the highlights of why I think this is a good idea, aside from, like, that, you know, I just want to do it. I think there are a couple of good reasons to do it, and specifically in bug. And the reason I think it would be, or fit the best in bug, is that we're already shooting kind of, you know, dissimilar guns in bug, or there are dissimilar guns that are allowed in bug. Like, you can shoot a 5-shot revolver in bug, or you can shoot a semi-auto in bug. And so those two things are, you know, even though they're in the same division, they're not competing against one another all that well. Like, I don't know anybody that shoots bug R. I've seen one person do it ever, and God, that, you know, even in bug, that's a tough road to hoe. Because if you're shooting 6 rounds and everybody else is shooting 10, but in bug R you're shooting 5 only, so that's even more difficult. But the availability to shoot different things that don't really mesh well is already there, and you know, arguably, if you allow optics, you could put it on a revolver. I don't know that anybody's making a optics mount for a revolver, a 5-shot revolver, but maybe. But it's there, so it's not that different. And this weekend, I shot shot 6 rounds, 95 power factor ammo. It was a bug gun with but for having an optic, and the dynamic of the game in bug didn't change that much. Like I got shooting against another master, Nick Brody, my buddy, and he beat me. Not because like I think I shot the gun a little faster than him, but his manipulations and just that's what bug is. It's reloading a bunch. It's getting the timing right so that you're not doing a bunch of standing reloads, and which is what I was doing. But either way, like he beat me because of that, not because I had a dot and could go faster or shoot the gun faster, but because his gun handling was better. So that's what bug is, and I don't think the optic changes that much. Now, I mean, like if you want to talk about 35-yard standards or 30-yard, I guess is what's legal now. Yeah, I think it'll make a difference at distance, but for most of the shooting that we do at IDPA, like I don't think an optic is that big of an advantage. However, people are showing up to our matches with 365s. The 365 is the number one selling handgun. It has been for like the last 3 years. So, if somebody shows up to a local, we're not going to, DNF them at a local for not making power factor, but they're probably not making power factor with a 365 and a dot at 125. So that's kind of my next point here is that like I took out my 125 power factor ammo, which I aim to be like 130 around there because I don't want to fiddle with the line too much. But to get it to make 125, it was making like 125.7, 125.9 in the little guns. But to get it to do that, it has to make like, and that there's not much room in there. So a few rounds that are just a little bit less, and I might not make it. To get it to do that, it'll make like 135, 136 out of an X5. So not only if you're shooting a 365 in CO are you disadvantaged by using your little gun and your little mags and all that, but you're also disadvantaged because you have to have hotter ammo. And I've heard stories of guys showing up and like, hey, I want to shoot my carry gun, which I think is the way to go, man. Like that's what IDPA should be about, in my opinion. Like I get it that we all want to go, further and faster with big guns, but in my opinion, IDPA should be about carry guns. That's kind of where it started, and that's how I feel about it. But the potential for somebody to show up to a sanction match with a 365 or 365 XL, maybe even a macro with a dot on it, and not make power factor is a significant possibility. Like it. I don't know. I haven't tested a bunch of factory ammo, but the possibility certainly exists, and so it's just another reason for it that it makes sense to do it in bug, in my opinion. All right, I just got to interject here with one more thing that I forgot. Some of the comments that I've got, or some of the ideas I've got, are like, well, we can't put a dot on a bug gun because then it wouldn't be a backup gun anymore. I guess so, dude. But like, in the same way that most of the people that shoot SSP aren't shooting their service pistol, like the name doesn't mean that much. So like, it's more about the parameters of what fits into that division than it is the name. So I just thought that was a funny critique that like, well, it's not a backup gun anymore. It's like, yeah, but a Glock 26 isn't really a backup gun either. It's more like a carry gun. And I would argue that neither is a 5-shot revolver. It's not really a backup gun either. You can carry anything. It's a backup gun if you carry it as a secondary to your primary, I guess. So like, the name just doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So I think that argument is kind of stupid. But it's more like a carry gun. But most of the guns that we shoot in these divisions don't really match with the service pistol terms that we use, or the backup gun term that we used. Arguably, the only one that really makes any sense is CCP, because that's that describes those guns pretty well. Like carry optics, like what does that even mean? I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was a funny comment. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, so I think that the size of guns that are backup guns outside of law enforcement, it's not a backup gun, it's a carry gun. Like that's what it is. But it doesn't fit in CCP either. But in law enforcement, when backup guns started, the idea was kind of the 5-shot revolver. I think that's what a lot of backup guys were carrying for backup guns. But that evolved with the 9mm single stack craze, and now we're well past into micro compact, stack and a half size guns, with dots. And I'm a firearms instructor for the agency that I work for, and so I spend a lot of time talking to other firearms instructors. And there's a lot of agencies that are either issuing Glock 43Xs, which is bigger than the bug box size, with dots, or like Glock 43Xs that are MOS compatible, and a list of these are the dots that you can put on your backup gun if you want. So I think that idea has changed and morphed and moved forward again, and we should move forward too. It allows more people into the sport, and we're all about that life. That's why we have PCC, right? So anyway, these are just my thoughts. Every time somebody says like, well, why don't you just take it and shoot it in CO? It's the power factor thing is the reason, but I am going to do it. Like, I think this year is going to be all about dots for me. And so I'm going to shoot my big guns in USPSA, and I'm going to take my little guns and try them out in a bunch of different configurations. I'm going to try 10 round 125 power factor ammo, and I'm going to shoot that in a sanctioned match and see how that goes. I'm going to try 95 power factor in 6 rounds, which is what I did this weekend. I'm probably going to continue most of that and training that with Nick. And then I'm going to try a little bit of 95 power factor 10 round ammo. But the big ask from IDPA is just give us optics and bug. Bug S, bug R, and bug O, as strange as that sounds. That's the ask from IDPA, because I think that we're a relatively conservative organization. IDPA is a conservative organization. We're a conservative membership. I think that optics on every gun is the way things are going. But let's test it out in a division that is already doing sort of a different thing than everything else, and see how that goes, see how we like it. I think that we'll come to more of a consensus if we take change a little bit at a time, rather than doing it all at once, which I'm not against that. I think it's going to cause more consternation than if we just try it a piece at a time. That's really all I've got, guys. If you like this stuff, check out the playlists. There's more videos of me talking about it. There's some gear reviews and stuff. If you just like seeing match video, there's a playlist of just match videos, so you don't have to hear about me, my opinions on bug and dots and all that stuff. So if you have the time and the means, check out www.dz-214.com, where you can donate to all the vetted veterans charities. That's tough for me to say. I almost always screw it up. Vetted veterans charities that we support. We appreciate that. We'll see you at the next one. Match schedule this year is going to be Texas in March, Western in May, and then RMR. Yeah, and a few USPSA matches sprinkled in there too. So yeah, we'll talk to you on the next one.